Aspiring to get to your correct and a good healthy body weight is important, but it's so important that we do it right, especially when we change diets dramatically. And what I strongly advocate is largely a plant-based diet rich in fibers, very nutritious foods such as lentils, peppers, courgettes, all the whole spectrum. The more vegetables that you can get in plant-based foods, the better. And I like to supplement that, for me, with a large amount of fish, marine-based proteins, such as clams, mussels, various fish. If you like a largely pescatarian, but substantially vegetable-based diet. Now, other people might prefer meat-based alternatives, good lean proteins coming from beefs and chickens and so on, and that's down to personal preference. But one thing above everything is we shouldn't mix up weight loss with losing muscle mass. And we have to always ensure that we're getting adequate protein no matter what we're eating, especially with arthritis management. Protein is in many ways the king of all the macronutrients, the big nutrients, the fat, the oils, the fats, the carbohydrates and the proteins. So protein, getting enough into our diet, because if we start to lose weight and you're losing lean muscle mass, that's going to lead to problems. And it's better to be a little bit heavier, but that weight is made up of lean muscle than, basically being really light and just not having that muscle there. You're just going to run into trouble. So with this dish, it's a good example of that. I'm using a disproportionate, and that is another thing with this, just jump back to what I was saying. You'll find that when you start eating more plant-based foods, you have to eat more because these are nutritious foods. They're packed with nutrients, they're packed with all the things your body needs, but they're not very calorific foods very often. So you have to bulk up your diet. So you'll actually find that you're eating quite a lot more food than you might have. Otherwise, you might start leading to muscle loss and just general getting down to becoming underweight, which isn't a good thing, just as bad, in many ways even worse than being overweight. So with this dish, I'm using a lot of lentils. I'm using a green poi lentil. I'm going to make those kind of an Arabic-y style. I'm going to make the dish a little bit interesting from a presentation point of view by grilling a courgette. And I'm going to use some lean fish. Now the fish I'm using today is a nice Gurnard. It's a lovely meaty kind of a fish. Gurnards predominantly hunt other crustaceans, so it's a very deep flavoured fish. But any nice chunky lean fish, be it cod, nice piece of hake, anything will do with this. Don't be worrying too much. Going to finish with some pumpkin seeds, which are packed with magnesium and lots of other nutrients. And the sweet element I'm going to bring in using raisins. So loads of fibre, but particularly high amounts of protein, both plant-based and marine-based. I'm going to be flavouring that with Ras El Hanout, which you'll get all of these really interesting spices in your local Asian shops or your ethnic shops, and there's so many different varieties there that it's just the world is your oyster when it comes to these type of spices. Go in, investigate, look at these shops. Don't just walk past them because they have so much to offer other than the fare that you might find in your traditional supermarkets, which are quite limited. And don't be afraid. But even with that, if you can't get these spices, anything will do. So I'm going to get on and I'm going to cook this dish now. First, slice your courgette into 3 pieces lengthways, lightly seasoned salt, some black pepper, and lightly oil, just a drizzle of little olive oil, under a hot grill until tender. Into a pan, add a little oil, and then add your onions, your leeks, your peppers, your chili and your garlic, all in together. Can add a little pinch of salt in at this stage, maybe a little pinch of pepper. Cover, cook for about 3 to 4 minutes. After 3 to 4 minutes, add your cumin seed, your mixed herbs, and your Ras El Hanout. Cook. Now at this stage you can add a little drop of water if your pan is dry, not much. And allow cook, put it on for a further 3 to 4 minutes. Add then your raisins, your tomato paste, and your stock cube. I'm using a vegetable stock cube. And also add at this stage about a half cup of water. And bring to a gentle simmer. While on a simmer, add your pre-cooked lentils. And mix in. And at this point, we can take our fish and just place it atop the lentils. At a low to moderate heat, cover up your pan. Do keep an eye on it as it's cooking and allow it to simmer and allow the fish to steam. Your courgette, as your fish is just finishing, should be just nicely glazed and nicely coloured under the grill. And we can just put that aside until serving. And when your fish is cooked, it just should start to gently flake apart. It's just nicely cooked there now. And then it's only a case of serving your dinner. So, onto a serving plate. I'm going to add a little of my courgette, a couple of generous spoonfuls of my peppers and my lentil mixture, maybe a little more of a courgette, my fish, and as you can see we have more than enough portions of excess to make up another, if not another meal again. And then just the very final thing, I'm going to just take my pumpkin seeds and put a generous sprinkling of pumpkin seeds over the whole dish to give a nice crunchy texture, and finish with a nice drizzle of a good olive oil. And that is it. My fish, courgettes, and a sweet Arabic style lentil.